everyone. This is Rupali. I'm the program manager for investments at Headstart, a network foundation. And thank you for joining in for the session. So basically, Headstart is a 16-year-old and India's largest volunteer-driven grassroots level organization, which is supporting entrepreneurs and startups with a presence in more than 20 cities across India. And even we have chapters outside India, latest being the one we launched recently in Dubai. Right. So we have various initiatives, which is Startup Saturday, which is like a flagship program, which happens in every city, and it's the most popular startup event. We Club, which is a community for women and entrepreneurs. And then we have Head Start Boosters, which is a curated set of tools and services that a startup can avail at different phases for its growth. We have HIC goal to maximize availability of funds for early stage startups. And recent initiative is Beyond, which is a specialized program to catapult Indian startups to the global stage. And one of the initiatives is Startup September, which is like a month-long celebration of startup ecosystem by the startup ecosystem enthusiasts and for the startup ecosystem. So we are trying to bring visibility and acknowledgement to many more players of the ecosystem who have been relentlessly working towards making India the startup capital of the world, right? And this whole program will end with our HSX Summit, which is in Bangalore on 30th September. And one of the session for this Startup September is the session that we have with Rimjhim Ray on the topic scaling to your first 10,000 customers. So Rimjhim is the founding team and group CMO of Heyo Group and my operator. Heyo is our communication partner for Bharat Pichathon as well this year. And so she's also the board member of Wiseowl Spot AI. She co-founded Portal AI, an AI-powered upskilling to hiring platform for students and recent graduates. And they've been successful in securing funds by global investors across India, Australia, and Silicon Valley. So I think more would be, Rimji would be speaking about in telling her experience as well, how it has been. So over to Rimjim. I would definitely discuss on HFX, the Starter Summit, in the end of the session. Rimjim, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rupali, and thanks Headstart again for having us here. It's been a crazy last few months, and just so we have been a communication partner for Bharat Pichathon, like Rupali said, and I think it has been great fun, being in 6 or 7 cities across North and West India, along with Headstart, participating in the startup ecosystem, supporting it as best as we could with Heyo Phone. And to say that this period was crazy, not just because of Bharat Pichathon. I mean, our own funding round was going at this time. So we launched early this year, and we just closed our angel round. And it's been a kind of one hell of a journey. Of course, Heyo itself is growing. And like Rupali said that Heyo's my third startup, so to speak. I've been an entrepreneur since 2014-15 after I quit my advertising job at LeopoldNet. And kind of been burning the midnight oil since then. Have had decent amount of success. We've scaled Heyo to 500,000 downloads already since launching 6 months back. Portal, which Rupali talked about, was my earlier startup. We exited and after raising significant amount of funding, plus scaling it to about 500,000 users. So I'm happy to share whatever I've learned. It's not that I've learned a lot. I think I'm still learning every day, and I think every journey is different. Every startup is different. So not necessarily what I am going to share here is going to apply to all of you. But I think it's the idea to collaboratively learn, right? And that's why I would want to keep my presentation maybe as short as possible and open it up for Q&A early, so that we can all learn from each other. And more than me sharing my learning, I'm looking forward to sharing your learnings as you build your startups. So I'm going to start with a little bit of bragging. As entrepreneurs, we need a little bit of bragging, and I think we should have forums where we are allowed to brag, because every other day we are getting beaten. Our customers are beating us with their negative reviews. Our investors are beating us by telling us we cannot invest in you. Our employees are beating us by saying that we don't want to work for you because we don't pay as much as Microsoft does. So thoda bragging banta hai. So that's why I'm going to start with bragging. This is what Heyo has achieved. So as I said, as Rupali said, I've been a co-founder CMO at Heyo, and this is what Heyo has achieved in the last 6 months of his growth. So we are, I just checked the stats today morning because obviously I was jittery before a session. आज के numbers कैसे हैं? So we saw that we have crossed 500 and 500,000 downloads. We have crossed 100K plus KYC. So here is the number. So government mandated KYC होता है यहाँ पे. So which is basically our official trials. From there we've got 10,000 plus customers. The ARPU looks decent. We have just launched the basic plan, very low entry barriers, which is around just 2,400. And another thing that excites me the most is the CAC. When we started out was around roughly hovering around 2,000 to 3,000. Touched as high as 3,000 plus. Now it is down to 250. So that's a 10 times climb down. And that CAC climb down sort of tells us that, we have just started discovering product market fit. So again, and what we have obsessed on while doing this, again, these are very early metrics. It's not that I'm saying that we have achieved huge success. We have not. But these are early metrics. But whatever these metrics, but, I guess most of the people here are also early stage founders. So that's why, I thought that sharing these metrics might be encouraging or, might give us some insights. What we have obsessed on while achieving this, basically I obsess only over two things. And daily, at the end of the day, I look at only CAC. And I look at, is my retention growing? So is my LTV growing? So CAC is again customer acquisition cost. And for me, customer acquisition cost is only when a customer has paid. So, you know about the funding winter, right? So that 2020 was a dream, 2019, 2020 was a dream, where you just went with a high TAM and GMV and GTV. I've also done that. I've raised funds in my earlier starters basis, TAM and GTV and GMV. Can't do that anymore. आज के date में, are you earning money? It's become like, traditional business. And that is how it should be. A business should be there for profit. So that's why, so for me, CAC is when a customer pays. So that how much am I paying to acquire a customer who pays? LTV is what is the customer going to transact over time. If it's a SaaS startup like us, it would be a subscription cost. If it's a D2C startup or e-commerce startup, it could be the amount of repeat purchases it does into each ticket size. Into your average ticket size, it gives you an LTV. And everything else, I think, is a vanity metric. So I've talked about installs and all. Feels good, 500K installs. But today, investors are not going to, invest basis it. Neither you're going to earn money basis it. And again, then what influences CAC and LTV? They're so important. So again, what I think is two things: conversion funnel, right from the point of discovery of your, of your product, to a person becoming a paid user, to a person retaining. That the first step is the conversion funnel, and the next the person retaining over time, then becomes your retention engine. The first thing mostly decides CAC, which is what we're going to talk about today mostly. Second thing is what you determines your LTV or lifetime value. For the time that a customer is with you, how much he or she is spending with you. Yeah. So for today's, I'm sorry I used that word class. It's not really a class. I'm no teacher. I'm a very bad teacher. But for today's Adda, so I'm a Bong. In Bong we call it Adda. So like for today's session, we focus on conversion because that's what the topic that agreed to do with Rupali and her team, and we talk about it. So when conversion is where your acquisition is coming in, right? So we talked about acquiring the first 10K customers. Now even if I go into this, now just a little bit of preface I wanted to say, because the 10K customers, the definition can be a little different for different people. Definition as in 10K remains 10K, but for an enterprise SaaS startup, 10K is a huge number. So my operator, which is the parent brand for Heyo, has 10K customers after 10 years. Because for enterprise, 10 customers, is because ARPU is high, right? If each customer is coming in with a much large ticket size. For say micro SaaS startup, which is Heyo, or for a D2C startup, a 10K customer might be a first validation that I've got to 10K. That means my products are selling in the market. So if you're an enterprise SaaS player, don't look at 10K at a metric for sure. If I am an enterprise player, depending on what kind of enterprise you serve, I think going to the first 50 or 100 customers is huge. So anyway, so coming back to conversion, again, conversion also I break it down into a few things. So what we do is we look at, understanding the buying journey. How are people actually buying your software today? And we go deeper into buying journey in the later slides. Then you identify the steps in the funnel. When I say steps in the funnel, someone coming to your website and signing up on a lead form. to someone requesting a demo, or someone requesting a free trial, to someone finally paying. So those are the funnel steps, to from someone becoming a lead to the point of him becoming a customer. Then obviously if you have a funnel, you have to also have a conversion mechanism. How do you push people through that funnel so that it glides through to your, onto your payment page and make that dream payment. And then at each stage, obviously you baseline the KPIs. And again, I said KPIs might differ from industry to industry. What is a great CAC for me might be an impossible CAC for someone who is trying to acquire enterprise business, and might be a true CAC for someone who is selling, say, a rupees 10 pen. And so you need to understand the KPIs. You need to validate the KPIs in the market. There might be some industry standards that market research will give you. But as I said, everyone's journey is different, and you need to constantly be baselining and validating it. And it's really a loop, till the time your business is there. I'm sure if you talk to Amani, I'm not sure if he is looking at his mixed panel numbers or his branch numbers or his Facebook numbers daily. But you talk to his marketing team or talk to him, and at the end of the day, then he's doing the same thing, obviously, maybe at a higher level. But then, that revalidation, that loop goes across for every business across your life cycle. So again, building now, breaking that conversion thing into the steps, and then going a little deeper into the steps. For me, the buying journey is very important, and your marketing team or the co-founder is looking at marketing. This is the question probably he or she needs to be asking himself, asking the team, asking himself or herself, asking the market, and getting really strong answers to who is buying. So that is a persona. I was reading a very nice article on LinkedIn just yesterday that personas are also junk. So every time there's a very kind of cliched term, right, that we use. What is your ICP? What is your ideal customer persona? I say cliched because the approach of finding an ICP is often cliched. So I worked in advertising. We used to for LeoBurnett, we used to design these fancy slides with nice customer personas. Female, 35 to 45, has kids, goes to the market, and it's all very generic. And now you realize as an entrepreneur why those personas do not work. Your persona needs to be very detailed, and number one, you need to really get down into what is the motivation to buy, why is he buying it, who is, and the demographics much more exactly than the usual ICP flap tells you to do. And second is you need to validate it. So when we started Heyo Phone, for example, we thought that agencies or offices with at least 10 people would be buying it. Then we saw even single professionals, like Soho professionals, single owner professionals, like a doctor or a maybe private tutor who runs his own private center. Even they are buying it because it gives them a branded phone line. So it kind of for a while we struggled because we didn't realize that this person is also important. And then there was a long debate internally that should we even serve this person? I was like, if they're coming in, they're paying for it, why not? And we are also able to serve them profitably, then why not? Then what we do, we segmented the plans. So anyway, that's another story altogether. But understanding who is buying is more than just a market research. I think it's actually the market validation that gives you this data. Why are they buying it? What is their motivation for buying? What is the problem that you are solving? What is the problem that your market thinks you're solving for them? How are they buying it? So, that is basically the point of conversion. Are they buying from your mobile? Are they buying from a website? Do you have salespeople in the journey? What is really, what are the steps that a person has to cross before they land up with your software? How often are they buying it? And where are they buying from? So geography, again, important. So for instance, again, when, going to the Heyo example, when we started, we thought East is not important, East se less business aata hai, but then we were all kind of flawed in making that assumption because we're basing our data basis the parent company, right? My operator, and because it comes. Ankit, the co-founder, is it's also co-founded my operator. So obviously that bias was there. That East में से bias नहीं आता है. But then SaaS के लिए, for very large enterprise SaaS, East might not be the best market. But for micro SaaS, because traditional businesses, SMB businesses, concentration is one of the highest in the East, regions like West Bengal, Orissa, etc. So because we have designed a micro SaaS for those businesses, which is very, kind of owner operated, you don't need very expensive training for it. You don't need a lot of technical knowledge for it. This was flying off the rack. So we changed the marketing strategy to focus on the East, while it was not there in the beginning. So, where are they? So these things tells you where your ads should be focused, what your ad copy should be like. So if there's a very strong reason for a customer to buy you and that your ad copy doesn't talk about it, you're not making the connect. So probably you are, spending budget without actually getting the meat. And again, the strategy will vary based on your answers. I said in the beginning that an enterprise customer, at least in terms of the buying journey, would has to be appraised differently from if you are selling say a rupees 10 pen. And then so then what should a media mix look like, or what should your channel mix look like? Now here's an example. It's not set in stone. It's an example I've given for, say, if you've done a micro SaaS startup, we've seen this is a good mix that we have found for us. Initial stage, again, with time, I expect the digital to come below 50%, referrals and organic to go over 50%, and referral organic plus partner to go over 50%. I expect paid to come down, and I expect either organic referrals or partner led, where it's kind of obviously revenue sharing basis, so there's no upfront cost. I expect that to go up. They're not happening for me, bad luck, because that means I'll never really be properly profitable. Will it vary in case of you? Yes. But see, for most D2C, B2C startups like Heyo, which are B2B but very B2C in behavior, because we are targeting very small businesses or even individual customers, I think this could be a good mix. You start with 50 to 70% as digital. Again, Meta and Google, with people, there's a joke in investor circle. तो जो पैसा हमें इन्वेस्टर से मिलते हैं वो फाइनली मेटा या गूगल की पॉकेट में जाता है. Fortunately, unfortunately, yes, but you do not, the kind of audience data, the kind of reach that they have, they're still your best friends. So yes, but it's basically you need to have a very good performance marketer, so that your ads are optimized and you're targeting the right people, and your analytics platform. So we use Mixpanel at Heyo, gives us really great insights. We are we've been looking at other platforms like Resultix or AppsFlyer. I think even media mix se bhi agar kuch important hai, what analytics platform are you choosing for yourself? Because if you're not able to understand the results of your ads, you're not able to understand the behavior of the people who are coming in and how the conversion is working, then you're probably just spending money without, it's just sinking into a black hole. Also, one thing I really very strongly believe, for your first 100,000, even 10,000 sales, depending on the industry that you are in, I think your founder, it's not just for your first 10K sales, your founder always probably remains your chief sales officer in a way. You might obviously, with time, hire a better salesperson than you are. But, at least initially when you're building the brand, very important for the founders, or at least some of the founders, not every founder might do everything, to wear their sales hat, to go out in the market, to create noise, to build that influence. Go and brag about it. Go and get your customers, because the way you can explain your product, early stage in the first 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, no one else can explain the product. Again, so because we gave such an emphasis on digital channels that have worked for me, not just in Heyo, but across companies I've worked in or startups I've done. Meta and Google, no doubt. Then again, something that started exploring recently are also audience platforms. So audience platforms like Reserve gives you very targeted data. So for instance, I need to target GST payers in Delhi. So Visa would give me that kind of a data. That kind of data would not come with Facebook, but marrying Visa with Facebook will give me that kind of reach targeting. Or proprietors or all single proprietors in NCR. So that kind of data can come here. Plus there are other, platforms. And, I'm there on LinkedIn. We could always have that conversation. You ask me, there are n number of leads acquisition channels that we explore every day. And some of them are really good. Recently we've been exploring something called Easy Leads. Easy Leads, led by a very, good founder again, Nathan, is an excellent platform if you're targeting SMBs. They're also a Heyo partners. If you come and, become a customer on Heyo, you would also be working with Easy Leads to, accelerate your lead generation journey. Third is database marketing. So I know spam is a bad word, bad 4-letter word. But like I said, हम लोग as a founders, हम लोग ऐसे भी beaten होते हैं. Whether you like it or not, you are going to get galis from 10 people during a day. So और गाली सुन लेते हैं, थोड़ा spam कर ही लेते हैं. Or don't tell it outside of this, outside of this session. Don't quote me, please. But I think some spam is allowed. And WhatsApp marketing ka, so I've become a big fan. We will have to still do it, judiciously, of course. When I say use spam, it's not that, you mindlessly start sharing. वहाँ पे भी personalization targeting important है, or people will start blocking you as spam, and then Meta will finally block your number. So there also, but having said that, if you have the right lists. So I have all the proprietors who registered the business in Delhi last week. I think that is a gold mine for me. Hey guys, hey, you got your business? Now get a business number. You have, say, the list of everyone who likes, every person who goes to a mandir. You're selling, say, some fragrant flowers for puja. Reach out to them on Monday, because Monday Shivji ka day hota hai. Sunday you reach out and say, get flowers from me, delivered at your doorstep at 9 a.m. or 7 a.m. That person will respond. So getting that list is important. Uske baad your WhatsApp and email can help, or SMS even, but SMS, again, there's a lot of problems. So WhatsApp is better, but again, very targeted marketing there. All right, the magic word. How do you earn without burn? Can you earn without burn? Well, you do have to do some amount of burn. There's no magic bullet as such. But then that is what you do, right? You obsess over SEO, ASO, and word of mouth. SEO, ASO, read the Flipkart's founder story sometimes, how they sat down and did SEO for all the products themselves. They themselves wrote the description. Like I've been saying, founders sort of crazy hote hai. Unless you have that level of readiness, your founding team, or your first hires. I've got some of the best people on Heyo, been helping build this here. For example, Sanad, who leads our marketing. Unless you have people like this, literally obsessed about growth, who are literally obsessed about making this work, this will not work. So so obsess over SEO, ASO, and obsess over word of mouth. Because like I said, if you, with time, my digital share of that, my share of digital paid channel should come down, and my organic referral should go up. Unless that is happening, if people are not recommending you, that means the product market fit is not done. Getting a lot of people, they're going to Google Play Store, giving you bad rating, going away. You have got them in, but no results. So you improve your product, you listen to feedback, improve your product, you again listen to feedback, go back to those people, and make sure that they are going and telling 10 others that your product is great. All right, so after the buying journey and this media mix, we talk about the funnel and the conversion mechanisms. Again, funnel would differ from brand to brand. For D2C brand, it can be cart and checkout. And then, understanding, if someone is coming, if a lot of people are coming to a cart and not checking out, what is happening is people know about your brand, right? That's why they're adding it to cart. So there's interest, there's awareness, but there's no conversion. Why? Is your cart faulty? Is your payment method doesn't work? Are people not very sure still about your brand that you will be shipping to them? Then so then at this point, I think rather than making assumptions, it's best go and talk to the customers. Go and talk to the customers every day, many times as you can, without obviously scaring them off. And most of the time, people are happy to talk, that is one advantage of staying in India. People are happy to talk. You understand from them where is the problem, solve it. So identify drop, reason for drops every stage. Then you build the nudges. Not just about building nudges. Of course, nudges moves you from one step to another. But before you build the nudges, you have to solve the problem. So if there's a problem that is blocking them, solve that first before you build the nudges. Solving problem hygiene hota hai. Nudges are the feel good thing on top of it. And then remarket like crazy. So again, another hack that I want to share from the Heyo world from you. Because we're sitting on a huge amount of downloads and KYC, started remarketing like crazy from last month. And just today morning, we saw that our remarketing CAC has gone down further. I hope that it keeps going down and not gets jinked. But remarketing is a great thing. It's one of the best things that marketers have developed. After marketing, I think remarketing is the best thing. Then understand conversion data. That is where your analytics platform comes into picture. Who is buying again. So conversion data, when people have come into a platform, how well do you understand it? How well do you create those cohorts? Which are the people who are spending maximum time on your platform? Right. So for instance, in Heyo, there was an assumption, usual assumption, 20, 25-year-olds are buying Heyo. Like, all right, go and check Aadhaar data, go and check the profile data. No, actually 40-year-olds buying Heyo. Because that is where, that is the ideal age of a business owner. So, the assumption you make, it just makes like they say, it just makes a fool out of you and me. So understand, but so once you understand the cohort, you knew which are the people to target. We're no longer targeting the 18-year-olds. We actually blocked under 18-year-olds on our platforms because that's another reason कि try से भी वो allowed नहीं है. Secondly, these are people who just came, spam call and went away. So understanding, while for a gaming platform, it might be that 18-year-old that you're chasing, right? So it depends exactly on what you're doing. Don't make an assumption. Most of the time you make an assumption, everyone will come and tell you SECA 18 to 25-year-old internet audience. No, bullshit. Your audience is actually who your audience is, and you need to understand that. Who is buying, then the time to convert is important. Obviously, the faster people convert, faster money is rotating for you, and then understanding the reasons for drops. Very important. There are some KPIs that market will tell you कि D2C के लिए ideal 100 रुपए होना चाहिए या 200 रुपए होना चाहिए, whatever is that market trend. But your KPI might be different. And your KPI is very important. You kind of correlate it with the product you're selling, with the amount you're making by selling each product. If I'm selling 1,000 rupees, if I'm spending 1,000 rupees to sell 100 rupees screen, 2 to 3 years back, I was a great business. In 2023, I'm not. So obviously, if whatever I'm earning from a person and whatever I'm spending to acquire that person, initially thoda gap to ho gayi because they're creating market awareness. But with time, this has to come down, and ideally, your CAC has to be much lower than your LTV. So for instance, at Heyo today, we're chasing an LTV of, not chasing, we have achieved the LTV of CAC to about 5:1. And we want to optimize this further. We know that some of it, with this love story might not last also forever. So as we scale, some of these numbers might go south. But it's our job as, marketers, founders, leaders, whatever, to keep those numbers in check. So again, I said it, if your CAC doesn't come down with time, more than marketing, you need to look at product. You don't need to look at your ads. You don't need to look at your, your distribution. More than that, first you need to look at your product. Then if the CAC is not coming down, that means word of mouth is not happening. Organic buying is not happening. Product market fit may problem. All right. So something that, I'm very, very kind of bullish on. Build, what is the partner ecosystem that you're building? So affiliates, referrals, partnerships, influencers. I think partner-led growth is one of the best growth. Because obviously it is much lower cost. B, it is much higher reach. So if you can have partners, it obviously depends on the product you're selling. It depends on the industry you're in. If your industry kind of has a thing about partnership, or even if you are creating a new benchmark, I think look at partnerships. Because again, with partners, like I talked about, Easy Reach being a partner, natural partner, because Heyo whole smart number data hai, where you can convert your leads, easy lead generation data. Together, we are much stronger as an offering, not just as an offering, as a market creator, as a market enabler. So look for synergistic partnership and build on a reciprocity basis, which just means that if I am doing something for the partner, I am promoting him or their startup. They're also doing the same for me. So together, our combined reach is much higher. Obviously, comes at a much lower cost as compared to the amount you're paying a Google or a Meta to keep you running every day. All right, so this is what you do in the early stage of your marketing to get to your first 100, 1,000, 10,000 customers. How can Heyo help? Just a little about it. So Heyo, because at Heyo we are giving a smartphone line. We can also be a part of your journey if you want to choose to make us. Of course, it's always up to you. So by boosting lead generation with a smartphone line, because we're giving a branded number, then customer engagement goes up. So the customer engagement goes up, that means LTV and retention goes up. And an ecosystem support that we have built up with a number of multiple strong partners who are all focused on the SMB ecosystem. So you're a small business or startup today, and just do hit me up on LinkedIn, or Rupali even has my number. So we can always talk and start a conversation there. Not just on Heyo, but also on the some of the marketing hacks that I talked about. If you find them useful, then let's start the conversation. All right. So are you still at 1,000 or at 10,000? Don't give up, because someone is at zero. Someone is at zero. Someone is at zero. That's a typo. I'm sorry. No one is at zero. Someone is at zero. Zoho is at 100 million. So she will always be much, much ahead of us. So that means, you'll always have that kind of a crazy benchmark to reach. So don't give up yet. मैंने अपने लाइफ में मल्टीपल टाइम्स फेल किया है, मल्टीपल टाइम्स बैंकरप्सी फेस किया है, ended up selling my own flat to sustain startup. So बहुत crazy things किया है. If you're doing all of these things and you're thinking, oh my God, we are still not scaling, I think that, that time does come. So that's all, Rupali. Over to you to open up for questions.
Thank you, Rimjhim. Thank you so much. I mean, really very great session. People must have taken few points, an interesting one. And in between, when you're sharing your personal, experiences also, it just adds on and give them the value, like to reciprocate as well. Guys, we are open to questions. If anybody has question, please raise the hand. Yeah. So we have Women in Sports India. Hand raised.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead and ask, please.
Hi, Rupali. Hi, Rimjhim. It was great to know your journey. My name is Vaidehi Vaidya, and I'm founder of Women in Sport India. And we are also sort of B2C and then a little bit of B2C company. And we are focusing on women who are interested into sports and fitness. Right? So same as you, we are young. We have about 150 members and everything is paid. We have never kept it unpaid. My question to you is, in the early phase of your marketing, especially when you are purely bootstrapped, which we are right now, how do you prioritize spending? And if you remember, how much did you spend in the initial phase of Heyo on marketing? If you can give me that reference, because that is a hurdle that I am facing right now.
All right. So there's no, right or wrong answer to this. We spent around about 1 lakh each month, but this is not the initial days. This was, so we started around, 20-25K in a month.
Yeah.
That is when we were giving free trials, we were not charging anything. We were letting people, we did have a period where we were letting people use it for free, primarily also because the product was also not completely ready, but we wanted market feedback. So we were, we did have that period where 20-25K, we were getting customers to do the KYC, come in and try it. We scaled up to about 1 lakh from say March, April, when we started seeing initial traction. So we launched the paid plans in January. And then we started spending around 1 lakh per month. And then we discovered that spending 1 lakh, we are able to earn, somewhere about, say, almost twice that amount every month.
Okay.
I mean, this took some time. It's not that on the first month it happened. Then we saw with a little more scale, then we were able to earn and we were able to rotate that money. Then we, first raised some fund, and now we have increased that spending per month for sure. But this is, roughly what it was. And if that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. This is very helpful, and thank you so much for giving actually numbers, because many times people don't give exact answers, and this actually gave me references to understand whether I am doing it correctly or not. So thank you so much, Rimjhim. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Hi, Rimjhim. This is Dr. Hashim from Navarati Innovation Private Limited. So we are an agri-tech company based in Hyderabad. So like we are two founders, Shishir and me. So I am kind of in research oriented and Shishir is tech. So you know, so kind of we are not into the marketing, right? So our product is kind of now ready. Actually, during our POC itself, because we are doing collaboration with Agricultural University and Farmers Training Institute. So during POC itself, we are now, we used to get some revenue around 30 lakhs or so directly without any kind of marketing or anything at all, because they found it nice, right? So yeah. So now my direct question is, how innovator or tech guy they think. That is completely different, not our cup of tea, marketing, right? And we don't have our team, honestly, I'm telling. We have very strong team, R&D team, very strong, but not completely, not for a business, connection. I have some, because I'm means my family background is business, so I have little bit to making some connection. So that's what kind of I'm trying to do, but again, it's not my forte. So please let me know what should be our approach for that, because we'll be wanted to launch soon, and how to scale up, right? Thank you.
All right. If this makes you feel better, I am a marketer by accident. I'm a techie by education. Studied computer
Okay.
science at Jadavpur University, and I
Wow,
did that
that's
for a long. And I did computer engineering for a long time. Yeah,
okay.
and it's after that, because there was also a creative streak in me, kind of took a bet on my career. Like I've taken a bet on entrepreneurship to explore advertising. But that is
Okay.
one. But I think being a technologist, I think is my biggest strength. I always tell people I'm not a marketer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love being a marketer, not that. But I say I'm a techie first and then a marketer. So I understand, which becomes an advantage. Understanding the product, understanding how it works, understanding it so well that I'm able to explain it, use it, explain it, understand the data. So again, now more marketers need to be techies because it's not marketing anymore, it's smart tech. So understanding the data is one of the biggest challenges. The data part kind of doing the mathematics, looking at the numbers, and immediately
Right.
sorting it in my head. All of that happens. I think that's a very strong advantage that you have, that you're technically strong. And like I said, in my slide, your first few sales, because yours is more of a B2B product, your first 100 sales will probably happen through founder networks. You find a salesperson more than a marketing person, I think, then you have to scale that effort. And then marketing, so I think, you could always hire someone in this case to build out your, say, marketing, collaterals, etc. But this would be for you, it would be a sales-led journey. Because the sales-led journey, it would be very strongly founder-led. First few sales, once it happens, right, you already have the kind of money to hire a marketer who gives, who builds up that, say, marketing baselines for you.
Yeah, but not very, we can't hire very pro one kind of.
Oh, that's okay.
Means
What you need? See, you need what? You need to build up decks or videos. Maybe you don't need. There are a lot of freelancers in the market right now.
Right.
So you could always hire them. And then I think like I said, it's a sales-led journey. You should rather focus on getting a good salesperson rather than marketing is probably lesser of your worry.
Right. I'll just say a very short, quick question. Actually, what I'm doing in the meantime, so we sold around 72 exactly devices, right? Till now, this POC time. So I give directly my number for any complaint, anything, because we have identity, but I don't give their number because I want to hear any problem, because our strategy is within 24 hours, kind of, we want to solve most of the problems. So I take all the calls at the moment. So is it a good strategy for the time and later?
Strategy. That's the best strategy. आप पूछो यहाँ पे, there are people who work with me. My number is shared universally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not, and I've kind of gone to a point that okay, you put my number on Google My Business also. Let me handle those calls. Because as a founder, I think as a co-founder, founding team, you don't have the luxury to not be there on the front line. So Jeff Bezos का एक photo देखा होगा आपने. Jeff Bezos, of course, guru है. We can only all aspire to. Is there that for the first few years he was the one sitting on the customer helpline, glued to the phone all day, understanding what Amazon customers are saying. Abhi bhi there's that he still takes those calls. That's the best approach. Hands off to hona hi nahi chahiye. The moment you're hands off, it's not your business.
Right. Great. Thank you for your
Hi, Rimjhim.
I think this is the last question, Rimjhim, that we'll take. Yeah.
Hi. Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah. Please.
Hi, Rimjhim. Good evening. This is Debraj. We are an online astrology brand called AstroKun, and we have just launched in July. We are a B2C, which is, the session was mostly B2B, and so for a B2C brand to get quick traction and get the word out the first few months. What is the way to do it? Even not organically, but spending a little bit of money. Is it any email blast? But emails everybody doesn't read. SMS people don't, and our target audience is around 18 to 35. That demographic. So from a marketing perspective, for a B2C brand, which is like online astrology, wellness, consultation, what do you think is a good way?
First of all, I'll ask you about your audience thing.
Yeah.
Why 18 to 35? Why not older? Older people have more money and probably also believe more in astrology. You will see more rings on maybe Jackie Shroff's fingers than on Tiger Shroff's fingers. We become more God-fearing as we grow older, and most people, not everyone. So one is, that's just a thought. It's totally up to you. Second, in terms of B2C, I think digital is the best way, and content. So that content is a content game that you have to win. Can you be so much hit on Instagram you'll have to win that content. There's no other easier way to do it.
But that's a little slow churn, right, Rimjhim? Like it's not something will happen in a month.
Nothing happens overnight, right? Very extremely good content and good distribution. I think Instagram or Facebook. Also in Facebook, there are what I found useful are there are a number of groups. So for your kind of thing, so there are a lot of for instance, I found a lot of moms groups, mothers groups, and parents groups, and all of that. Like I said, maybe older audience could be your audience, so those groups can be useful. That is one, but I think primarily I'd say it's a content plus distribution game. So on Facebook or Instagram, can you target accurately by interest? Also, can you target on Google, etc.? Can you target users of similar? So maybe you can target people who are already using AstroTalk. So similar audience if you build up and if you are able to target them. So targeting basis intent, targeting basis interest. But at the end of the day, your content has to be good, and then what is the differentiator say with respect to an AstroTalk? People would want to know that because that's the market leader right now.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so that part you have to be very clear on, and that part then you have to communicate very strongly to your audience. And as I said, look for blue oceans. Everyone is chasing that 80 to 30 group. They're tired of being chased. Leave those poor people alone. Yeah, why don't we, Sundar Pichai is what, 52? Why is nobody chasing him? He's rolling in money.
Why?
Because he's 52. So, I guess, yeah, there's a amount of ageism that works in all our approaches. I just think through it, you might want to even target people who have more money. And maybe, or if you are targeting 18-year-olds, then you might say that you are the best astrology brand for, people who are trying to get career success. So some niche you will have to catch on, that differentiator has to be there. Right. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to win against competition.
Yeah, this is a big TAM market, so there is space. But yeah, our differentiator is genuineness, and yeah, what you told about, career, and those are some of our differentiators. Our product is built that way.
Yeah, so if we are looking career, then maybe target tier 2, tier 3 cities, because वहाँ पे generalization फिर भी नहीं है. Like I said, कि Heyo में multiple times we made assumptions and we ended up looking stupid over that. So यहाँ पे don't make assumptions, but maybe हो सकता है quota might give you more audience than say Bangalore.
Thank you, Rimjhim, once again. I think this question, I have to stop the question. What else you can give? The session was so insightful and the people wanted to ask you so many questions. Great session, really insightful with all your learnings. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining in. Also, we would like to invite you for our summit. So Headstart has summit on 30th September, HSX, which is an annual summit in Bangalore at SAP Studios. So please register. You can find the link in your chat, in the chat box. Register, go to our website or the LinkedIn page or the other social media page. I think this is going to be an amazing summit because you're going to see thousands of entrepreneurs who would be there with speaker investors, ecosystem partners, and incubator, accelerator. So definitely a great place to actually meet ecosystem people, enthusiasts at one place, right? Thank you so much for joining in.